Hey guys, I'm just answering a question here from Rob F. He had asked a question in reference to fib placement. I'm going to walk through that really quick on a second part of this video. But first part of this video, what I want to do is kind of answer the second part, which is he said, I seen that you are in a short. Is this a new technique you have? And he's referring to the short entry that I did up here. I'm still in the trade. I did a sell order here. I'm still in this trade. I exited out 50% once we got up for the first push impulse to the downside here, and I'm expecting for a second push. Let me walk you through what my decision was and why I took this trade for a sell order. It is a counter trade, counter trend trade. The trend is currently pushing to the upside because we have an SMS with a BMS. Once this BMS broke market structure, came down, tested, and it pushed up. It didn't come back down here. It pushed back up. Now that it pushed up, I had mentioned earlier, I'm looking for buy orders. But why did I take a sell order on this? The reason why is because this here, up here, was previous market structure. This was the peak, the swing high of this entire 10, 11,000 point range because price came down to this lower low right here, right? Right here, lower low. Price came down here to this lower low. Once it hit this lower low, and this was back in May, it pushed up and it failed to break up into the section. So this produced another lower high. That's what it produced, right? So it is lower than the previous high, LH. It's lower than this high. This is lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It's all producing lower highs. This was back in May. So this here is my data point where I'm going to drop my possibility of breaking market structure. Price came up, broke this structure here, this one right here. It broke this structure, and it continues to the push to the upside. Once we had this SMS down here and this BMS, this is possibility of change, confirmation of trend change. So I am looking for buys. I entered in on this trade because price came up and tested this line here, but did not break it. In fact, if we go to the 1 hour, we're at the 1 hour chart, price came up and tested the line, but did not break it. And if you take a look at the signals that it gave, that it was basically giving a sell, and this is a short-term play. It is a counter trend play. We are counter trend. The trend is up, but we are counter trending. If we break this here, this line here at 34, yeah, because that's a pretty big push. If we break this 34 going down, then we now have a new change of trend pushing to the downside. But so this is possibility of change of trend. This is also possibility of change trend to the upside. Possibility change of trend to the downside. So I took this trade right here because it was giving me a lot of signals that we were pushing to the downside because he came up, price came and tested and did not break it. Since it did not break it, it basically gave me 3-bar swing, which is on the 1 hour chart. We have two red candles engulfing this green candle, and then it came and gave an engulfing. This was my entry was actually when it pulled back, because as soon as I seen these 3 bars, price came and pulled back, and I think I posted that. I'm not sure, but I'll post it. My entry. And then it gave a engulfing candle right here, this red candle engulfing. And then, of course, you have push 1, and we're going down for a second push. So that's my trade that I just recently made, and it is not a new technique, but for the most part, the reason why I took it was because we came up and tested that equal high, and it did not break. Keep in mind also that this is peak formation low, this here, down here, peak low. And if you've been reading my bias direction, you'll see that I've been marking these off PFH, peak formation low, okay? And then up here, this is peak high. Okay. So since we hit a peak high, what I have recognized is that, in fact, let's do this. I'm going to go back here to this. Anytime previously when we've seen counter trade trends, counter trade again, meaning trades that were counter the trend. Trend was pushing downward on this here, right? So you could see push 1, 2, 3 levels down. Trend was pushing counter, so we seen level 1, level 2. So I'm expecting a minimum because now trend is pushing to the upside. I'm expecting a minimum of 2 pushes to the downside and then continued push to the upside for 3 levels. That's what I'm expecting. Again, trade what's in front of you, and hope that helps, Rob. Okay.